Well, I was very fortunate to come across psychosynthesis and train in it because it's a very sort of exciting subject. It also helped me to find the ground that I didn't have and discover what I didn't know I had. Sorry, I lost my way there. It's quite. When I wrote Psychosynthesis Made Easy, I broke my leg actually. So I thought, well, I'll write that because I can't move, I can't really go anywhere. So there was an opportunity in that, and psychosynthesis is all about finding the opportunity in difficulties. And I'm thinking of Roberto Assagioli, who developed psychosynthesis. He actually developed it in the 1950s, but not everybody's heard of it. He emerged, he was Italian and he was Jewish, and he emerged from a very spiritual background. His mother was a theosophist. He also knew Alice Bailey, who founded the Arcane School, and they both shared a sort of not a fear, but they both shared a concern, that's right, this word, a concern to a concern about the psychosocial environment, really. He also knew quite a lot about the Kabbalah because that was a Jewish mystical aspect. And as an Italian scholar, it was mandatory to learn about Dante and the Divine Comedy, and it meant a lot to him. It went very deeply into him, and he saw that it was a complete model of psychosynthesis with the lower unconscious, much like the abyss, when you're not really aware of what's going on, and then the middle conscious, which is the purgatory, working the fibres of the soul, and also learning a lot about the personality, and then paradise, which was connection with the self. The self in psychosynthesis language is spirit. It's that part, and he believed that although analysis was important, because he trained under Freud, it wasn't everything, and he felt that in a way it kept people away from it going further, because he was interested in the potential of everybody, the human potential. One of the models, which you might have come across because it's sort of on a... Oh, aren't they lovely? They're smiling at me. One of the models is the egg. I don't know whether anyone outside psychosynthesis has heard of the egg. It's just a model of psychosynthesis with the lower unconscious, and out of this egg, the middle unconscious and the higher unconscious, but out of this egg he developed subpersonalities, the theory of subpersonalities, which is a very powerful subject. They're sort of constellations of energy, defences and forces within us that make a particular personality, but most of the time we aren't really aware of it. You know, if we want to do something, then maybe we have an aspect of ourselves that downgrades what we're going to do. And it's really getting in touch with these subpersonalities and being conscious of them, because consciousness makes one aware of what there is to work on. And these personalities, some of them can be at that lower level of the unconscious until they're made conscious. Then they can move up to the middle level where the I is. And the I is a reflection of the self. And if the I can be touched by the transpersonal and have a transpersonal experience. And that sort of brings me a little bit to Assagioli's main subject, which was the will. He actually wrote a whole book about the will. I still don't understand it really. And
probably need to draw to a conclusion.
Yeah. Will is mainly seen as a sort of a strength, a strong force. But he also brought in skillful will, which you use skillful will to sort of engage someone in doing something. You do it with your children. And then there's transpersonal will, which some people can be in touch with. They can be inspired, but they don't have to be religious or spiritual, particularly to have a connection with the transpersonal, because the transpersonal is always there. One of the other things that he developed was a disidentification exercise, which Anne, one of my tutors, was so good at. And it's sort of disidentifying from whatever we were identified with, because we're sort of ruled by what we identify with. We can't get rid of it, it's in our mind all the time. But to be aware of this and gradually disidentify is very powerful. It gives us back our autonomy.
I don't need to move on.
Oh, brilliant. That's great. So there you are. It's all in there.